caught my wife cheating, and she ended up ruining a faithful partner's marriage. I'm at a complete loss. I don't know what to do. There were signs, but I ignored them. I was blinded by love and never imagined this could happen to me. Not with her, my wife and best friend of nearly 20 years. I work out of town and wasn't supposed to be back until tonight. We were planning a 2-day road trip tomorrow, a trip to give us some alone time since we've been so busy with family and friends this summer. But work was slow, so I came home yesterday afternoon. When I got home, there was a truck in my driveway I didn't recognize. My neighbor had recently asked me how I liked the new truck, but I thought he was mistaken and didn't think much of it. As soon as I saw the truck, I got a terrible gut feeling. I love my wife and trusted her completely, but that feeling was strong and undeniable. I sneaked around the side of the house to our bedroom window. It was open, and I could hear them. As I got closer, I looked in, and my worst fear was confirmed. They were there, completely naked, on my bed. I just walked away. Since then, I've been fighting the urge to do something I know I will regret. I'm struggling to care what happens to me at this point. I went to my family's cabin for the night and drank everything there. Today, I was on my way home to confront her but decided against it. I'm just not ready. All I feel is anger, and all I can think about is violence. I'm not in a good place right now, not good enough to face her. I'm back at the cabin, staring at a 60-ounce bottle of rum for an hour. I want to get drunk and forget this, but I don't want to get drunk and make bad decisions. I know this is a critical moment in my life, and what I do in the coming days will shape the rest of it. That's why I'm here. I need help. I'm not ready to talk to family or friends, so I'm reaching out to strangers. Update: busted wife. Cheating. The amount of support and advice I've received is unbelievable. I actually got choked up realizing how many kind people there are out there willing to help a stranger. It gives me a bit of hope for the world at a time when I needed it most. The downside of all this support is that I'm struggling to respond to everyone. I have over 600 private messages on Reddit and several hundred comments. I want to thank everyone individually, and I will make an effort to do that, but it won't be quick. So I'll start by giving a big thank you to everyone for their kind words and helpful advice. It really means a lot to me. I've noticed several questions and comments that keep coming up, so I want to provide some clarity along with a minor update. If you can tell, I'm feeling a lot better today. The pain has almost completely faded. I still feel like I've been punched in the gut, but otherwise, I've begun looking to the future. It's been 2 days, so this doesn't seem right to me. Is this the calm before the storm, or am I just freakishly resilient? As for the questions I've received, here are some cliff notes to clarify. When I said wife and best friend, I was referring to the 2 roles she played in my life. The other guy was not my best friend or even someone I knew. I didn't get a good look at him, but from the quick glance and his vehicle, I don't think he's someone I know. We don't have kids yet, but we were planning to have them soon. We recently sold our house and are set to move closer to my job in September when the new owners take possession. I'm going to thank my neighbor, but I'll do it subtly, just like he did for me. Many people have been asking about the signs I overlooked. Off the top of my head, here are a few. She was texting unusually late at night. She started going for after-work drinks with friends regularly, which was unlike her, but I was glad she was being social. She had yoga once a week, but apparently wasn't paying for it because one of her co-workers was the instructor, and she was helping with setup and cleanup. I also thought she was very inflexible for someone who did yoga. There were unknown caller hang-ups too. We usually answer each other's phones if we're closer to it, but several times she had an unknown caller who would hang up as soon as I answered. We get a lot of spam calls, but usually it's a telemarketer or a debt collector, looking for the previous owner of the number. Rarely is it a hang-up. The update is still a work in progress. When my brother arrived, we had a long, honest talk. He has been my true best friend, and I realized I need to always remember that and trust that he will be there for me without judgment, just as I would be for him. He really sets the standard for what a true friendship is, even though we sometimes fight. Since I was supposed to be home last night, I decided to respond to my wife's text. We aren't allowed to have phones on site at work, so it was reasonable that I was only texting her. She knows it's easy for me to sneak in some messages. I told her I needed to go to one of my company's remote sites and wouldn't be able to call her until the end of the weekend. I also said I would cancel all the reservations and rebook later. She replied that she could take her best friend with her this weekend to the romantic bed and breakfast on a vineyard that I had booked. I knew it wasn't the best friend she wanted me to think was going. I told her I had already given it to my brother and his wife since the reservation was non-refundable, and they would pay me back in a month. This morning, I cancelled all the reservations except the romantic one because my brother is coming with me. Fortunately, the hotel let us switch from the honeymoon suite to a room with 2 beds. There also happens to be a really nice lake nearby with boat rentals, so this just turned into a long overdue fishing trip with my brother. This means I'm free for the weekend. I don't have to write to or talk to her for a few days, which relieves some stress and gives me more time to think. Right now, I'm leaning toward getting a divorce. Honestly, I don't see it any other way. My brother supports this but has asked me to take a few weeks and speak to someone. His wife has a friend who is a couples counselor and is willing to talk to me on Monday. I don't think it will change my mind, but maybe it will help untangle some of this mess for me. I'm also taking a lot of advice from here and starting to speak to lawyers, at least to prepare for what I think is inevitable. I want to do this right. I never thought of her as someone who would try to screw me over, but I also never expected her to cheat. So, I think I need to be ready for anything. Thanks again, everyone. I'm going to try to enjoy my weekend as much as possible. A lot has happened in the past few days. I'll start with the less important stuff. My brother Matt and I drove nearly 5 hours to the B&B on the vineyard. I really appreciate him being there for me through this. It was more of a venting session than anything, but it helped clear my head. After spending most of the drive complaining to him, I just wanted some alone time, while he wanted to go out for dinner. I stayed in the room, and he went out to eat and brought back some food for me. He also managed to rent a boat for the next day. On Saturday, we hit the water. The owner of the B&B knew about our plans for fishing and was kind enough to pack us a small cooler with food and drinks. It was their way of making the romantic package more useful for 2 brothers. It was a nice gesture. Fishing wasn't great. We both caught a couple of trout that we had to release because they were too small. So, the snacks from the B&B worked out perfectly. We stopped fishing in mid-afternoon and then drove around to all the vineyards and fruit stands, buying food and cases of wine for Matt's wife, Jen. That night, we went out for the biggest tomahawk steak we could find. On Sunday, we drove back to Matt's place. He lives in the next town over, which is about an hour from my place. When we arrived, Jen was there, and we all sat down and opened a bottle of white wine we had chilling in the cooler. This is when the weekend officially ended for me. Jen told me that while we were away, she decided to spy on my wife. She said the guy was at my place all night on Friday, but on Saturday morning, she managed to get there just as he was leaving. She followed him home and found the apartment where he lived. My wife stayed there on Saturday night. The same time she was texting me, saying she loved me and missed me. Jen said that she was splitting her time between visiting family who live in my town and stalking my wife. She happened to catch my wife leaving his apartment on Sunday morning and took a few pictures of them hugging and kissing before my wife got into her car. I don't want to see those photos. That pretty much sealed the deal for me. I don't think I could ever trust her again if she can turn it on and off so easily, telling me she loves me while being with another man. Still, I decided I'm not going to make a knee-jerk reaction based on emotions. I need to stay calm and level-headed. That's when Jen told me Sharon was coming over for dinner. Sharon is the counselor Jen set me up with an appointment for. To clarify, she's never met my wife, and this was my first time meeting her as well. Sharon was very kind, and we got along well. After dinner, Sharon and I went for a walk around Matt's neighborhood to walk the dogs and have a private conversation. Sharon was really helpful because she was a great listener and made me feel like I didn't need to be guarded. It was therapeutic to be that open about my feelings as much as I'm comfortable with. With my brother, it's different. This was something I really needed. It's the same reason I like writing this on Reddit. It's a venting session that helps me untangle some of the mess in my head. Our walk lasted an hour, and the main advice Sharon gave me was not to delay the conversation with my wife. She said the longer I wait, the harder it will be to talk to her about this. She said I need clarity more than anything, and my wife is the only person who can give that to me. Later that night, Jen and Matt offered for me to stay with them as long as I needed. I know Matt and I have a limit for how long we can be in close quarters, so I spoke to my boss, who was able to set me up in company housing. I've been staying there every other week for a while, but had to leave on my days off. He managed to arrange for me to stay full-time for a few months if I needed. I decided to rebook with Sharon for later this week. I figured our walk was enough for the first session, and she agreed. I spent Sunday night just lying in bed, thinking about how to approach this. I struggled because even imagining the scenario in my head made me angry or sad. I decided I would just wing it. I'm usually good under pressure. Yesterday, I woke up and said goodbye to Matt and Jen. I drove toward home, wondering what if the guy was there when I arrived. Then I thought that would probably put me back, in the angry place I was a few days ago. So I decided to do a drive-by first. Neither his truck nor my wife's car were there. I went inside and grabbed a bunch of essentials and things I don't want to part with. Mostly photos and old family, heirlooms. I packed them all in my truck and then headed over to the guy's apartment. Her car wasn't there either, but his truck was. I decided to ride along with her to see where she was going. She said she was getting groceries. I trust her so little right now that I drove by the grocery store and actually confirmed she was there. I feel so dirty admitting that I did that, but my trust is broken, and it's the only way I can be sure of anything. I wrote her again and told her to just come home because we needed to talk. She replied, "What's wrong?" I just responded that she needed to be ready to be honest, then turned my phone off. She got home 15 minutes later. When she came in, she came over to give me a hug and a kiss, like she does every time. I turned away from her. She asked me again what was wrong, so I told her she needed to start being honest with me. She played dumb and said she had no idea what I was talking about. I said, "Okay, if you can't be honest, then I'm leaving." She started panicking and said, "Are you talking about yoga?" I figured it was a start. I asked her what she meant, and she told me she hadn't actually been going to yoga. Here's a bit of a breakdown of the rest of our conversation. Me: "If you weren't going to yoga, then where were you going?" Her: "I was taking walks to relax because I've been so stressed lately." Me: "Why were you so stressed, and why did you lie to me about what you were doing?" Her: "Preparing for the move has been stressing me out, and I just didn't know how to tell you." Me: "So lying was the choice you made? What was the concern with telling me you were going for a walk to de-stress?" Her: "I didn't mean to lie. I was worried that my stress would add to your stress." Me: "But I'm not stressed. It really seems like you're not telling me everything." Her: "What do you mean?" Me: "I think you're lying about more than just skipping yoga. I'm asking you again, to be honest. You've already lied to me, so this can't work if you keep lying." Her: "I don't know what else to say." "Oh, are you talking about last weekend when I went for drinks with some friends and came home late?" Me: "I had a feeling that bothered you. I had no clue you went for drinks or were out late. I was at work a couple of hours away." Me: "Is that what you actually did that night, or was that a lie as well?" Her: "I went for drinks that night, but I didn't see her best friend, who you thought I was with." Me: "Who did you see?" Her: "No one. I just drank alone." Me: "You drink alone now?" Her: "Yeah, maybe I have a problem." Me: "Maybe we'll talk about that later. Last chance. Be honest or I'm leaving." Her: I don't know what else to say." Me: "Okay, I'm leaving." At this point, I got up and left. Usually, when we argue, I go for a drive to get away from her. She probably thought this was the same, but then she realized I took my clothes, toiletries, and the Xbox too. That's when she started blowing up my phone. I told her I gave her A chance to be honest, and she didn't, so there's nothing left to say. She begged and pleaded with me to come home and talk in person. She said she had no idea why I was so upset or what she thought she did. She repeated that she loved me and would never hurt me. Just hearing her say that tore a new hole in my chest. It was always comforting words that I believed without question. But now it felt like a dull, jagged knife sawing through my heart in the most devastating way. I couldn't handle it, so I hung up. She called back about 40 times before I was ready to answer again. This time she said, "Did you talk to Karen, her best friend?" I asked why, and she said, "Come home. I don't want to say this over the phone." I agreed and drove around a little longer to calm down before going home. That conversation went like this. Her: "I assume you spoke to Karen." Me: "Well, a few weeks ago while you were at work, we went for drinks. A couple of guys started buying us drinks, so we just played along. When we were leaving, one of the guys tried to kiss me. I pulled away immediately and told him I was married. I felt so bad about it and wanted to tell you, but I'm an idiot and just decided to hide it from you." Karen hooked up with the other guy and gave his friend my number without asking me. He has texted me a few times since, but I have never written him back. Me: "Can I see your phone?" Her: "Yes." She showed me her phone, which was completely empty of texts, except for messages from me and her mother. She never deletes her texts, so this was new. I looked at her photos, which were also clean, but then I checked the deleted photos and found one of a guy I didn't recognize. Me: "Who is this?" Her: "That's the guy who tried to kiss me." Me: "Why did you take a picture of him?" Her: "I was just being stupid." Me: "That's not a reason. Why did you take a picture of him?" Her: "I don't know." Me: "Is that everything you want to tell me? Or is there more?" Her: "That's all I can think of." Once again, I left. I didn't want to be trickle-truthed. I got in my truck and drove away. She ran outside trying to stop me, but I was already out of reach. I went to a nearby park, sat on my tailgate, and ate my lunch, trying to figure out what to. While I was there, I started remembering other things I should have been more aware of. For example, one weekend I was working a shift and went to bed early. My wife went out to a club with some girlfriends. I woke up at 4 a.m. and she still wasn't home. I called her a few times, but there was no answer. About 30 minutes later, she called me back and asked if I could come pick her up. When I got there, she told me they had been trying to hail a taxi but couldn't find one. A couple of guys her friend knew stopped and offered them a ride, but wanted to stop at their guy friend's house first. When they arrived, her married friend went into a room with one of the guys. My wife said she spent some time looking for her, but eventually gave up and just had a drink in the kitchen with the roommates while waiting. She claims she didn't hear her phone when I called. We fought about this, and she said she was disgusted by her friend's actions, so she cut that friend out of her life. I thought that was the end of it. Another time, she traveled to visit a close friend in a different city for a planned girls' night. There were 4 girls drinking and watching movies in their pajamas, or at least that's what I was told. She called me around 1 a.m. to say goodnight. We spoke for about 20 minutes, and she kept telling me they were having a great girls' night. Then I heard a guy's voice in the background. I asked who it was, and she denied hearing anything at first. Then it happened again, louder this time. She couldn't deny it and said, "Oh yeah, X took a couple of guys with her. Everyone here is super pissed about it. She was drunk and 3 hours away. She left me no choice but to trust her again. We fought about why she refused to tell me they were there. She promised never to put herself in that kind of situation again. Clearly, that promise didn't stick." After remembering all those things and the conversations we had about them, I was ready to give this one last shot. I turned my phone back on, and almost immediately it rang. I answered, and she was screaming for me to come home. I drove back to the house and walked inside, immediately confronted by her bawling her eyes out. She was sitting on the couch, repeating, "I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry." I asked her sorry for what. She began rocking back and forth like she was losing it. It took her about 5 minutes to catch her breath enough to speak. Her: "I lied about the guy who tried to kiss me." Me: "Okay, Tell me what happened. Her. The four of us actually went back to his place that night. We fooled around. I knew it was more than that, but just hearing her say it made me feel dizzy. It felt like the room was shrinking and there were a million voices shouting in my ears at once. I think I was having a panic attack. I went to the bathroom and splashed cold water on my face until I felt normal again. Me. What did you do? Her. Do you want me to actually tell you? Me. Yes. Her. He fingered me, and I gave him a blowjob. Me. Was that it? Her. Yes. Me. I'm not playing this game anymore. You either tell me everything right now, or this is the last time we speak. She began bawling again, and took a few more minutes before she could speak. Her. We met up again and had sex. I'm so sorry. I love you, and I'll do anything to make up for this. Me, just the one time. Her. If I tell you the truth, please give me a chance to do whatever I can to make it right. Me. I'll think about it. Her. It was an affair. We've been hooking up while you've been out of town for work. It's been going on for almost a month now. He is married, and they're about to get divorced. Me. Does he know you're married? Her. Yes. Me. If he's having an affair because his marriage is failing, does that mean you think ours is failing? Is that what you told him? Her. No, I don't think ours is failing. I'm so stupid. I hate myself. Please don't leave me. I can fix this. Me. How? Her. Whatever you want. Me. If you were in my shoes, or even his wife's shoes, what would fix this for you? Her. Knowing the truth, being able to trust you to mean what you say. Me. You can trust me. I screwed up and won't do that again. Me. If you were his wife, wouldn't you want to know the truth? Her. Yes. Me. Then fix this. Her. You want me to call her? Me. If you think that's what you would want. She tried calling but never got an answer. A few minutes later, her cell phone rang. It was listed as Karen Work. She looked shocked, so I knew it wasn't Karen. I asked if that was him. She said it was. I answered, and being the coward he is, he said, "Oops, I must have the wrong number." I said, "No, this is the husband of the girl you've been cheating with. I'm going to let you speak to her because she has something to say to you." I passed her the phone. Her. I told him everything. He knows the entire truth. We're done. It was just a fling, and now you need to never contact me again. I asked to see the phone before she hung up. Me. What divorce lawyer are you using? Her. Him. Me. I'm not getting divorced. Her. Oh, but didn't you tell me, your wife, that you were him? Me. No. Her. Okay, then can I speak to your wife? I feel she has as much right to know about this as I do. Him. Please, man, I didn't know she was married. Don't ruin my marriage over a mistake. Me. You ruined mine over a mistake. It's only fair that I tell your wife. Him. Please don't. She's at work right now. I'll tell her everything when she gets home, I swear. Me. Okay, you do that. That's where I hung up. I asked my wife if she knew where his wife worked and her name. She did. I had my wife call and ask for her at work. She got her on the phone and told her to take a seat. This woman said she was just getting ready to leave for the day and would call my wife back from her car. She did. His wife. What's going on? My wife. I have something terrible to tell you, and I don't want to cause any accidents. Please don't hang up. His wife. OMG, did something happen to his name? My wife. No, he's at your apartment right now. I'm just letting you know that we've been having an affair for a month now. I'm coming clean to my husband right now and thought you should be given the same respect. She went silent for about a minute, then said, "If this is some sick joke, I will find out who you are." Then hung up. Not even 10 minutes later, my wife got a text from Karen Work saying, "Thanks, you just ruined my life. I grabbed the phone and wrote back, "You just ruined 4 lives and 2 marriages. Don't forget that. This was your fault. You piece of..." For the next hour, my wife begged and pleaded with me to stay. She offered counseling, promised, never, to leave my side, and even offered sexual favors. This was everything I expected from her, thanks to the comments here. Then she said we should go on that vacation, her treat. "We need time away," was her reason. "We need to spend some quality time together because my work schedule has been pushing us apart lately." Also, exactly what I expected her to say. She wasn't expecting me to tell her I went anyway. She also wasn't expecting me to say I already have counseling booked for myself. She definitely wasn't expecting me to say I busted her on my own bed. I could only imagine she didn't expect me to have a place already lined up to stay. When I told her all of that, she fell to the floor, bawling. She started saying how she doesn't deserve to live. She told me I should just kill her right now because she's too terrible to be with anyone. It went on like that for a while. I stayed a total of 4 hours, listening to her make excuses, then try to hug me, cuddle me, or even blow me if I would just stay and work through this with her. In the end, I called Karen and told her that her cheating friend is suicidal and that she should come keep an eye on her. Then I left. It's been almost a full day since that happened, and I haven't spoken to her since. She's been calling and texting me all day. Her friends and family have been calling and texting me too. Everyone has a different excuse or plea for empathy. Her father is the only one who wrote me, telling me to do what's best for me and that he will always love me like a son no matter what happens. Reading that made me have a good cry for the first time since all this began. I meet with Sharon, my counselor, tomorrow and a lawyer on Thursday. I think I know where this is going, but until it happens, I'm just not sure about anything. I'm sorry for the overly long story. It just helps to vent this way. Again, I really appreciate all the comments and messages. The people sharing their own stories are really helping me feel less broken and giving me more hope. I sincerely appreciate everything you've all said and done for me.